It is the quintessential coming-of-age movie. The Breakfast Club sort of defined a generation, and it all takes place right here in the Chicago suburbs. In fact, it was filmed at what was formerly Maine North High School.
Yeah, so here's what happened. School officials were packing for a move a few weeks ago when they stumbled across a first draft of the original screenplay. It dates back to September 1983. We are joined now by Superintendent Ken Wallace. Ken, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, guys.
Okay, so first tell us, how did they come across this thing? What was the reaction when they did?
Well, today is Administrative Assistant Day, so shout out to all the administrative assistants out there. But two of our great administrative assistants here, Jenny Edwards and Deb Lyles, were cleaning out some old files. And there's a file for Maine North. Obviously, we've preserved some things from Maine North. It was only open about 10 years. We have yearbooks and those kind of things. And as they were going through the Maine North files, they discovered this manuscript, and it was kind of a pretty impressive moment in the office. You can imagine the kind of buzz it got, and so we, right away, took steps to preserve it. We put it, in plastic wrap and tried to make sure that it wasn't damaged. You can see here what looks like pizza grease. I can imagine the superintendent at the time, Dr. John Murphy, probably having lunch and thinking, I'm going to flip through this and drop some grease on it. Gives it a level of authenticity, but we were kind of gaga about it and then didn't think too much about it. And I was at the Chamber of Commerce here in Park Ridge last week speaking, and Todd Wessel, who is the publisher of the Park Ridge and Des Plaines Journal, heard me talking about it and ran a story this week, which then got picked up by other newspapers, and it's amazing. We were on People today, and we're on Fox this morning, so it's kind of a cool event, and this being the 30th anniversary of the film, it's been a neat experience.
Boy, I'll bet it has. And of course, John Hughes, the producer, director, and screenwriter, spent his teenage years right nearby in Northbrook and drew from his experiences going to high school there for this movie. So going back to when this thing actually happened, didn't the school make like 50 grand to rent out the place? Is that what I remember? And what other particulars about the actual filming of the movie is part of the official record there at the Maine schools?
Actually, they preserved quite a few documents. We've got the lease agreement. It was about $48,000 in total, about $12,000 a month. There was some language about access. Universal got really 24/7, 7 days a week access to the studio. Don Kenny, who was the CFO at the time, worked to make sure that various aspects of the school were preserved. His big concern was the stage, which was filmed at the school's gymnasium. So he describes, 3 or 4 inch felt that they brought in to protect the gym floor. My understanding is they were only going to film a few segments of the film at Maine North and then go back out to Hollywood to film the rest, but they liked the setup so much they decided to do pretty much the entire filming there, which took place at the Maine North site, except for the closing scene is actually at the football field at Maine South.
Wow, you guys have so many things going on there. You got, Hillary Clinton, of course, is a Maine South grad. You got Harrison Ford, who went to Maine East, right, Ken? I mean, you guys got all kinds of fun stuff going on there, don't you?
We got a lot of fun stuff going on. We've gotten a few calls about Hillary, of course, recently, and we've had other, when Bill Clinton ran for president, he came through. In fact, when Ronald Reagan ran, he came through and visited our schools. But we also found out this week that all 3 of our schools made the Washington Post Challenge Index, so we're very proud of that. We've got 3 great comprehensive high schools, and obviously, some of the alumni that you just mentioned, and many others that we're producing today that hopefully will go on and do great things, just like Hillary and Harrison and others.
So, Superintendent, I have to ask, what do you do now with that screenplay? That coveted little stack of papers in your hand, what happens to it next?
Well, I can tell you what we can't do. We can't sell it. It says right here that we're forbidden to sell it. It's interesting. I'm getting a lot of random emails from people around the country who say they're going to be in Chicago and want to come by and see it. So we are actually going to preserve it. We're going to try to find a way to display it that keeps it both secure but also keeps it as a part of the history of the district. We have a number of important mementos that we have over the years. Maine was one of the only schools in America that actually kids went out and sold war bonds during World War II, bought a plane that was built at Douglas Airfield, which is now O'Hare. So we're actually doing some things to commemorate that. We have a digital story that our kids did this year for that. We're going to do some murals. So we will treat this as an iconic piece of our history, just as we have many other pieces. We're thinking about either at the district office or somewhere in one of the buildings having a museum quality display for it so that we can protect it, but also let people get a chance to look at it. We obviously can't have a lot of people thumbing through it too much, so we do want to preserve it.
You don't want any more pizza grease on there, if you will. Just Dr. Murphy's.
No more pizza grease on there. No more pizza grease.
Superintendent.
Thanks, Ken, so much. Appreciate your time, and it's just fascinating. And I wonder how many kids in school today have ever seen The Breakfast Club.
Right,
you got to do a survey on that, Ken. Find out.
Yeah.
I will find out more than you probably think. I know our staff has seen a lot of it, and my administrative assistant Jenny Edwards watched it 3 times in one day, I think she said. So it's a pretty popular movie.
Thanks, Ken, so much, and we'll talk to you again down the line, I'm sure. Ken Wallace from the Maine Township School District 206.